Hi everyone, my name is Joelle, but all my friends and family call me Jo, and I feel like since we're going to be friends, you can call me Jo as well. And I'm one of your co-hosts on the TikTok essay, and this is my beautiful co-host, Buhle.
Hi everyone, I am Buhle intombi yakwaDlomo.
So I think this is our first episode, so I think...
Very nervous.
Right? We're just trying to get into the move of things, but we really just want to get across in this first episode what our purpose is, right? In this podcast, what it's going to be about, who are we, why are we doing this?
Yes.
And most importantly, just the end goal that we want you guys to get, from these episodes. So moving all the nerves aside, my friend, let's just chat about initially what is the TikTok? Why did we want to do this? Why did we come together and say, you know what, we've seen this. Let's have a way where we can go together and make this podcast.
Okay, I want to touch on why we decided on doing this.
Yeah.
So we've been getting messages from different people. For me, it started when I commented on a TikTok story about what are you doing? Would you do this again? And I was like, yeah, I'm a data analyst and I'll definitely do this again. And people started asking questions. What do you do on your daily life? How do I navigate this space? Do I need connections and all of that? So I was like, okay, based on this, I feel like we should be those people that will help people navigate their space. Disclaimer, we are still navigating the space, so we don't know much, but we are learning and we are willing to give what we know, and we want other people that know more than us to come through and just share the knowledge they have.
Yeah, so I think what's important is what you touched on, that we're going to be having guests as well,
Yes.
right? We just arrived in our careers. We just graduated.
We're just girls.
And we're just girls. We're definitely going to talk about like where we are also in our careers, but we have just arrived. So we are going to have guests on the podcast, which we're very excited about. We're going to have people coming and talking to us and to you guys about the journey in your careers, how you get to these certain paths. We're going to be having recruiters, we're going to be having tech experts, we're going to be having people to show us what happens in the daily life. Because like even yesterday, I was at like this youth event, and a lot of the youth were asking me, like, what does a day in your life look like? And I feel like that's the question we get a lot,
Yes.
Like, what is a day in the life of a data scientist, a data analyst, a software developer, a software engineer?
Do you wake up and code?
Is it just
Do you
code?
dream code?
Is that it? So we're really hoping that the podcast is exactly that, answering those questions. It's a place, you can come to that is tech related in the South African aspect, because a lot of these podcasts don't really talk about South Africa, right?
Yes.
Navigating the South African landscape. So it's about navigating that landscape, and it's a place you come to and the questions there are answered. And so I will touch on also what is very important for me that we get from this podcast. And it's just, I feel like Buhle and I were having this discussion that information and education is key.
Yes.
So when people have a place where they can go to and they can get that information, then they can make decisions on their own, like I'm going to use a big word now, autonomy. I'm going to say information is autonomy. It really gives people, South African youth, we're hoping, and young professionals, the opportunity to actually make their own decisions.
Yeah.
Because even when we were navigating spaces, and I think you'll get this as well when we're chatting about what we've learned, when we were studying, all of these things, if we had more information, we could have made more mistakes, we could have learned more, we could have not made certain mistakes because we had those things.
Maybe we could have been much
further, yes. So we're hoping that you guys come to this space and you learn every episode with us, and so that we all can make sure we're developing as it goes along.
Yeah.
But I think an important thing that we've touched on that people want to hear about is, who is Buhle? Where are you to come to where you are now? What do you do? And also, what is a day in the life of a data analyst,
Yes.
Touch on that. Touch on where you studied, where you come from.
So, Buhle is from the Eastern Cape. Intombi engumXhosa. I pride myself for that. So I did my master's in statistical science, specialized in data science at the University of the Western Cape. Disclaimer, in order for you to be a data analyst, it doesn't mean that you also need to do your master's, but I chose to further my studies. And during my master's level, the funny thing was that I was the only female. And I was like, ish, am I sure I want to be in this space? Because I'm surrounded by mostly males. And I feel like each and every girl that's in the data space or the tech space also experiences that. And you end up having imposter syndrome and all of that, of which I feel like in one of the episodes, we should touch on that.
Definitely.
Yes. So during my master's level, I applied for jobs when I was doing my honors. I did get job opportunities, but they were not what I thought I wanted for my career to grow. So I was like, okay, let me further my studies and I'll try again after I'm done with my master's. Then when I got done with my master's, I did get more opportunities. Then I decided to be in investment banking. And I feel like I chose investment banking because everyone was like, banking is the place to be.
Yeah.
It's a space to be and you'll learn more. And the biggest thing for me is that I want to learn. I want to explore more than what I know. Because sometimes you learn things, but you want the experience. Yeah, because theory is... Yeah, but
it's different.
Yeah, it's different than your everyday life. It's different than what is done in the workspace. So I wanted to experience that. So I got accepted in a graduate program at an investment bank. That's how I started my career. And in that graduate program, the nice thing for me was that I got to, rotate around different departments, different divisions. I got to rotate. At some point, I was a BI. At some point, I was a data scientist.
Hi, but what you have to say what a BI is?
Business intelligence analyst.
Yes, thank you.
One thing I did not know when I left school was that in our space, you can venture into a lot of careers and a lot of things. You get your business intelligence, your business analysts. At some point, I was a business analyst. At some point, I was financial analyst. Like, I got to explore all these type of
different roles.
And based on that, that's when I was like, okay, I want to grow into this space. And luckily, I got to an opportunity where I was like to my manager, I want to do this. And my manager is like, okay, girl, let's help you navigate this space. Let's help you navigate this.
I feel like you skipped over a lot though, because you're making Buhle's story sound, I just want her to give you guys the juice. She's making it sound like it was like straightforward, easy. But there was challenges, my friend, to get to where you are.
Not straightforward.
Yes.
Definitely not straightforward. At some point of life, I failed. Some point of life, I failed. Some point of life, I was so depressed. And I feel like the only reason I was very, very depressed is that I always put pressure on myself. And the moment I fail, I feel like that my world is falling apart.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think, back then, I didn't think that failure is...
a way to learn.
Yes, a way to learn, a way to dust myself, grow. Be a better person. Doesn't mean when you fail that life is
over.
It's
finished.
Done with. Finished.
No.
Doesn't mean that. So I went through such things, and I did mention before that I was the only female in my master's level, and because I was the only female, I felt like that I shouldn't be in that space. I felt like at some point, I remember I was sick during my master's level, and everyone was just babying me. And in my head, I'm like, are you babying me because I'm a girl?
So it's those thoughts in your head.
It's those thoughts. So I had a lot of challenges when it came to such things. And I feel like they helped me grow, hey?
Yeah, it does.
They definitely helped me grow. I no longer see myself as less now. I know I'm very much capable. I know that when I'm in a space whereby, okay, I'm the only female, I deserve to be there. I know that... what's this? Yeah, I know a lot of things now. I'm a better person. Okay, not a better person. I'm learning to be a better person, because you never get to where you want to be like just like that. Like you keep on getting new challenges, learning more. Because even when I was in my master's graduate program, when I was in the graduate program last year, I remember with my first team, they asked me to do a project. I did the project and they were so impressed. But the Buhle in me was like, girl, they lying to you. They lying to you. There's nothing to be impressed about. This is not nice. This is bare minimum. You need to pick up your socks. And for me, like I feel like that for me was like, I feel like I need to do more and all of that because I like pushing myself. Yeah.
So you feel like you've learned a lot and you've grown.
Yes, definitely. The growth from varsity to this year, like now we're full-time data analysts and data scientists. Last year we were just grads. Now we're just full-time. The growth, the posture, and how many months? 5 months?
Yeah, 6 months. It's 6 June, months, my friend. Crazy.
For me, it has been huge. As much as my master's level, they tried closing the gap between work and studying, because when you're on your second semester, you work with the company, and I got an opportunity to work with a Belgium company. And
I think you need to touch on that more,
yes.
Like to just say like, at the university you went to, they did that, because at my university they don't give you that opportunity.
Seriously.
And that's a great opportunity.
It's definitely a great opportunity because our masters are 1 year. So the first 6 months is just the same as your honors, that you
working on
courses and all of that. You write your test exams and all of that. Then second semester, companies come and they present that, okay, I have this topic, and then they present these topics for you. Then you choose your top 3 topics. Then the company also chooses you. Then you work for that company for 6 months. And while you're working for that company, you're learning how to do these projects. You're learning to talk to stakeholders, because we work with stakeholders.
Yeah.
You learn to talk to stakeholders. You learn how to start a project and all of that, and how to finish a project.
Yes.
When you're done with that, then when you get done, you write your mini thesis and you submit it to the university. So they tried bridging that gap for us, so that we don't get so anxious when we get to the workspace. And I feel like that for me really did help, since I'm an antisocial but introverted person.
And I can say, like, for us, we didn't get that. And that's something I struggle with now in the workplace, because sometimes I don't know how I'm supposed to talk to stakeholders, because I just believe I'm a baby. I'm just a small baby. And should they be listening to me? Because I am trying to enable what they are doing, right? Because that's what tech is a lot. In tech, we enablers. We always consider enablement in our projects.
Yes.
So we need to have a relationship where we can go and talk to the stakeholders. But we didn't have that, where we didn't learn. So I'm learning on the job.
You need to sell products. You need to be like, okay, I see that you have these inefficiencies.
Yes.
Why, like, this is the idea we have. Like, you need to sell that product to the stakeholders sometimes. And you literally need to learn how to do that, because one of our experiences, I saw that we went to the stakeholder. And now we went to the stakeholder and we presented what they were like, okay, this is what you asked for us. And for me, if my colleague was not there to ask for more projects, I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you also need to learn that actually you need this. Let me help you do this to help you. Because I always say that for me, I feel like being a data analyst is helping other people do their jobs better. Yes. So the insights we're creating, the automations and all of that we're creating is just to make your life easier, so that you can also concentrate on other important things that you need to do.
But I think we're jumping like very far ahead, because we're so excited to talk. Like, we're already in
want to
the
talk
jobs.
about everything and anything.
And we're like, okay, but we're already in data scientist and a data analyst. But it was a long process to get here, my friend, right? Like, it was a very difficult thing. And the other day when we were talking, you actually were speaking to me about how you put yourself out there on LinkedIn.
Yes.
And I think that's also something very important to talk about, like, as part of your journey. Like, great, you studied, you finished your mastered. She is a mastered girl.
Master hand.
Please approach her properly.
Bells. Please respect my name.
Please. Right? She is a mastered hand. She's worked to get there. But she didn't just immediately get this graduate role that she's talking about, that she initially got and did the graduate program. She put herself out there, which is something, I wish I knew Buhle when I was also applying, because I was too scared to do that. So like when you told me about like you going on LinkedIn and how you went about it, I was like, yo, can I really be in people's private messages in LinkedIn recruiters? Are they going to like me?
Because you're sending an email or you're sending an inbox to like a recruiter and something, and you just panicked. You just panic that, is this person going to reply? Like the nerves of, yes. So it's very difficult to learn how to put yourself there, but the more we grow, the more we learn.
And if I knew you back then, I think I would have taken that tact. I would have stolen it from you because I finished with my honors.
Yeah.
Graduated with my honors, also in statistics. So like we already were on the same length, even before wavelength, even before we knew each other. Graduated with my honors in statistics. And I don't know, I think I was just tired of studying at that point. And I was like, I want to get straight out into the work world. Even though, I don't know, a master's now seems like the same as, well, a postgraduate seems like the same as a matric a couple of years ago. If you want to get into the workforce, you feel like you have to keep studying.
Yes.
But I was like, yo, I'm so tired. I just want to get a job and get work experience. And so I was just applying. And I think that's also another mistake I made when I was applying that I wish I knew about, is I wasn't applying with a goal in mind or like I was like, oh, I want to end up in a certain space, like I want to end up in banking. I luckily did an internship, which Buhle also did. Buhle and I, we didn't even know each other.
Always sinking.
But we ended up doing an internship in my final year of honors with also an investment bank. And then that gave me direction of where I wanted to apply for. But I hadn't like had a lot of industry knowledge, which I'm hoping we are able to give you guys through this podcast so that you can also make wiser decisions when you're going forth into the work world after you've studied or even after you've done matric, if you're doing your diploma, different ways you go about doing these things.
I have a quick question for you.
Okay.
So before joining the investment bank we had 20 what did you have like some sort of background knowledge that okay, there are these companies, this is what they're looking for, I want to be in this space? How did you find about the opportunity that you got that helped you make that decision?
That's why I'm saying it was literally, I got into my final year and I knew that I didn't want to study anymore. So I was like, okay, now Joe, it's time to pull yourself towards yourself and find a job.
Yourself together.
In this economy where there's not a lot of jobs and it's difficult to get a job. And so I didn't have any knowledge except for, there's these companies, the university and the colleges, they just push at you.
Yes.
They're like, when you finish, you want to work at this company and this company and this is Big Four and this is this. And then those were the only companies I knew about that I wasn't doing. And luckily, one day, the university sends us emails about job opportunities, etc., etc. And that's how I found this internship that we did with the investment bank. And I was like, you know what, let me just put myself out there. Let me apply. I was doing a lot of like work with, it's called Women in Computer Science, which was like allowing women to go out into the community. And they said that is what they were looking for, to have people who are doing more than just studying, but doing stuff outside of studying.
Can I also add something? Those emails, guys, they're very important because I also got that opportunity because of an email. So
read
those
emails.
Communication emails, very important.
Read your college, read your university, read those emails. They what like link you to the opportunities.
I know they're too long, but
read the important parts.
Yes.
Yeah, and so that's how I got to doing what we did. And when we did that investment bank internship, I knew that I wanted to be in that space after that.
Oh, okay.
Because number one, it's well paid. So I felt like,
ching ching.
Yeah, we both have families to support. So
6 figures.
6 figures. Everybody says that. I was watching something the other day. They were like 6 figure girl. Everything is 6 figures.
Yes, because I was about to say, do you guys know 100,000 is 6 figures?
And so, I just knew that from that point I would be, sorted in terms of salary. But then also I enjoyed the work we were doing. There was a lot of like, for data specifically, they have like a lot of data and a lot of insights you can get with the data. So I knew my work, I would enjoy it. So after that internship was only applying for investment banks and those type of opportunities, and then grateful to have ended up in the same graduate program with you.
Yeah.
Loved it also for the rotating, getting to see different aspects, because when you come out, you don't know what to expect. You don't know what it is to be a data scientist. Like you said, it's theory.
Yes.
You don't know what it's like to be a data analyst. All you're doing is you're learning theory, or you might not even learn that. Like you ended up in a role which is not what you learned, and you're learning on the job, you're upskilling. Also, that's another thing about tech, continuously having to upskill.
For me, I learned SAS and R at school, at university. In the end of my master's, they introduced Python. When I got to work, I had to learn SQL. And I learned SAS SQL, which is different than the SQL we do at the work. I also learned how to use Power BI in the workspace, and literally did not have any financial background. But the moment you have the urge to learn and the willingness to learn, then I feel like that's always a bonus, because I got to learn financial terms in the bank space. And I got to learn what bonds are and all of that. And I never knew that.
Yeah.
So learning.
So
very important.
It's not like that you don't have enough knowledge for any job.
Yes.
You can get whatever job it is, because you are able to also learn on that job. It's just about putting yourself out there. And it's great we're going to have an episode with a recruiter, so we can chat more about
such things,
putting your guys' self out there, what they enjoy, what they don't enjoy in tech recruitment, what they're looking for, best ways to prep your CV. I was having a chat the other day with one of the recruiters, and she was literally saying, sometimes it's just, I know you've done a lot, but everyone just wants to put things on your CV. You just want to bombard with information on your CV.
I
and sometimes,
remember,
sometimes simple is perfect is all I was going to say.
Yeah. So I also remember that on my interview, I used to tell them that I love hiking. And I did love hiking. My goal was that I want to hike a lot of mountains in Cape Town, because I knew I was leaving. Like I told myself, I'm going to Joburg, I'm getting this job.
Yeah.
So I was like, I love hiking. I love knitting. I'm a DIY girl. And I feel like a lot of people knew me based on that I'm a DIY girl. So as much as they know the foundation you have, your technical skills and all of that, they also want to know who you are.
Yes. And I think what you said is important, because it's about being authentically yourself, right? I think one thing you'll hear us say over and over and over is about being who you are. Like in a team that you join, while you're studying, in a project that you're doing, you can only bring who you are to that project or to that team. And so we want you to learn from this podcast, but we want you to learn while being you, while not trying to be anyone else and bring in what you bring.
And disclaimer, we're not serious people.
I think the topics we're going to be speaking on are extremely serious.
Yes,
but we really just want this to be conversational style with you guys as well. Every time you come and you're learning, it's just about having a conversation, and we all learn and we all listen.
Learning from each other, learning from you guys, learning from the people that will be joining us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So tell us, what is it like? What is a day in the life of a data scientist?
To sum it up.
Wait, let me re-ask that question, because you're not a data scientist. So.
Data analyst.
Please edit that for us. What is the day in a life of a data analyst look like, right? Now you've made this whole journey, you studied, you've got into the graduate program, you put yourself out there on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Now you've rotated, you've done all the roles you told us that you've done.
Yes.
And now you're doing something very different to what you studied. Now you're being a data analyst is what you love. So what is the day in the life? Buhle wakes up and she just codes? Is she going to work every day? What is she doing?
No, I don't go to work every day. I go to work twice a week. Hybrid hand.
COVID has changed the world.
Yes, it has. Definitely has. And I feel like it's good for us people that are ambiverted, like that.
Both intro and extro, right?
So it's good for us that, okay, we get to network at work, we get to talk to people, then we also get home and have time to recharge. Yeah, so I feel like that space was very good for me. So I go twice a week to work. And on a normal day when I'm at work, our team follows what we call agile methods. So your agile method will be your stand-ups, your sprint. Your stand-up will be, you'll be like, okay, this is what I've done in this project. This is what I still have to do. these are my blockers. Like blockers as in a sense, what is making you not to finish this project? Who are you waiting for and all of that? If you need any help, nice thing about this thing is that you're like, I need help with this. Can you please help me? And what I've learned is that there's no stupid question. Then we also have sprints. Depending on the team, it can be like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Sprints is the planning. So the business will come with these, let's say 20 projects. Then the person that plans, which is usually a BA, will be like, okay, in this sprint, we can like do 10 projects. And these 10 projects are divided amongst the people that are there based on your skills. Because in my team, you have a data analyst, you have a BA, you have devs and all of that. So depending on the project and your skills, then you're given the project.
Okay, so after you stand up?
So after my stand up, depending on the project, then I start coding.
Yes.
I start using, what's this? Power BI. So depending on the project.
So when you code, what's your code preference, you know?
So when we writing scripts, that's Python.
Okay.
When we getting data from the database, that's SQL.
All righty.
Yeah.
And then if you need the end product, you're on Power BI, building a dashboard, building dynamic outputs, like... If people have never used BI, what do you do on it?
Oh, so depending on what business wants, we just create those insights they want. And if I feel like based on the data I have that, okay, this could be valuable and make your job easier, then I add that.
So it's a nice place for visualization of the deep data insight.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Alrighty. So how is that very different to what you thought you were going to end up doing as a data science? It probably is.
I thought I was going to do what you do.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to build models every day.
I thought I was going to build models every day as well, but I think it doesn't end up building models.
Yes.
You know, when you're like in university and you think, I'm going to be every day do. I'm going to be using R. I don't even use R anymore, my friend.
I also don't use R. I also don't use SAS.
And they teach us these skills in these like on these platforms, but then when you get to the working world, everyone really in South Africa, you really see that everyone really if you're a dev, you're going to be Java, and then everyone else you're going to be using Python. And I mean, some people use R, but then they need to transfer it over to Python as well.
And
so
there are companies that use SAS, but I feel like it's because it's not an open source, so like not all companies use that. So yeah.
So we're just doing the Python works. And that's another thing we both had to learn, right?
Yeah.
I only learned Python for data science when I joined my team that I'm in. So it was a lot to learn very fast. So it was a very fast learning method, so that I could go ahead and actually do it. I think my day-to-day last year as a data scientist was building models, but the data science world changed so much from what we learned even.
Yes.
Now it's just generative AI. Now it's just, okay, OpenAI, GPT. What can we do? Everything. So now my day looks very different to what it looked like last year, which is also another thing about being in the tech space, right? Like you could be doing something in the previous years and then the technology develops and now you're doing something else.
And it changes all the time. That's the nice thing. Like you learn new things each and every time. And I feel like we should also touch on that when in one of these AI episodes that AI is not here to replace you guys.
Yeah. And it's tough when you're doing work in technology because people are used to doing work in a certain way, right? They've been in the company for years. And now you coming in and you saying, you know what? I can make your job easier. Let me just write this couple of line of codes. And they feel like it's replacing you. But AI is not there to replace you. And luckily we're doing an AI episode, so we're going to touch on that even more, which is going to be great. I'm extremely passionate about generative AI and the efficiency and how much more efficient it can make jobs, especially in South Africa, that we are doing tediously every day using Excel. I was so shocked when I got to the job world and there was so much Excel still being used. I don't know if I was being like dumb. I was like, Excel? Okay. In 2023, 2024, Excel? But
what do you mean?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's very different to what we thought it was going to be when we actually joined the job world. And for me, like a day in the life of a data scientist is very different from you. Like it's still coding because we're always in technology. Yes. But like I said, like this year, it's more based on like doing generative AI. So building large language models to help people to summarize their jobs, to make it more efficient so that they don't need to be doing things that they've been doing like in the past. Like GPT, OpenAI, Gemini, all these models have more purpose than what we use it for when we're just asking it a question. Yes. In the workspace, there's so much more. And I can't wait for that episode when we actually touch on generative AI and have a Gen AI expert here talking about all the things that AI can do. But I think that was a lot.
Yeah,
for
that
the
was
first
a lot.
episode. And
But I actually enjoyed this.
I'm so excited to do
guys,
this.
let me tell you this. I was sick the whole day. But I feel like I literally enjoyed this.
Yeah, and so I just think we should end off with telling them what they should expect, what can they expect from us in the podcast. Also, something we're very excited about that we're always going to have at the end of the podcast is like, just a little bit thing that they can learn, whether we put it in the link in the description below or whether we actually chat about it on the podcast. We'll be telling you guys about graduate programs, about bursary opportunities, and something that both Buhle and I want you to expect from the podcast is to be added to our network.
Yes.
So something that you learn, which is very important when you start working, is about networking. And your self-brand and how important networking is. And the things you get from networking. Yes, you can work extremely hard, but to get to those high places, it's about also who you know and how much you've nurtured those relationships. So we are now including you guys in our network. So you are part of our network, and we hope that you can expect from each episode learning from this network and getting something. So that's why it's important for us to have those bits of knowledge every episode where we have the bursary opportunities or graduate programs where you can go. And we also want you guys to be leaving us questions.
Yes.
So that's important.
Yeah, very important. We want you guys to engage with us. We want to show you what you want us, as much as it's our podcast, but I feel like everyone should be included.
Yeah, that's why we started it.
Yes.
Because we wanted to know where the gaps in the knowledge that you guys have, where we can help you, where we can assist you get these knowledges. People, maybe we have an episode and you need more info from that episode, how we can give you more. So that is essentially what we're going to get. So
thank you guys for watching us. And
we hope you subscribe, you follow, and that you stay tuned for the next episode. We're going to have a very exciting guest. It's going to actually give us more day in the life and have those type of talks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sign out from Joe.